Desde los callejones ruidosos de Nueva York hasta las playas de Cancún, ella solo quería un descanso. Pero entre juntas, correos y responsabilidades, prepararse para una despedida de soltera se vuelve una misión casi imposible. ¿Logrará empacar sus sueños sin perder la cabeza? ¿O será el drama quien la acompañe al aeropuerto? Esta es Despedida de Soltera. Con Adelle, la más perra, Isabela, la asistente, la familia y Rebeca, la novia.
Hello everyone. So it is currently like 4 in the morning. If y'all caught up with these first part of the vlog, y'all might have seen that I literally only had like a few hours of sleep, and kind of the same situation today. So I'm first going in by styling my hair. So I'm experimenting with this wave spray. I actually have to leave very soon. But I just like cannot wait to get a decent amount of sleep. But we're going to be leaving to the airport soon. I'm back in my hometown, so that's why my bathroom looks a little bit different. But this is not necessarily where I grew up, but this is like the house that I lived in throughout high school and a portion of college. Still in my hometown though, we have literally just moved down the road. But anyways, I'm putting a lot of this texturizing spray in here, and it smells really good. It smells very peachy. So yesterday after work, literally went to the mall to grab some last minute things, and then by the time that I came home, my boyfriend, he stopped by, and then I literally knocked out. I'm telling y'all, I was really tired. Same situation for today, but luckily I feel like I have a good internal clock when it comes to flights and whatnot, because I woke up around like 3 a.m. So literally had to take a shower. Didn't even have time to really wash my brushes like I wanted to last night. So I guess I'll just have to wash them when we get there. This has literally been my life for the past few weeks. Just scrunching my hair, which honestly is like one of my favorite parts. Definitely love doing this portion. It's just like flipping my hair and scrunching it. That's really what my life has been like these past few weeks. But I'll get back to y'all when everything is packed, because I'd say like I'm 90% of the way there. So I'll catch y'all in a little bit.
Okay, so fun fact, on our way to the airport, low-key, we were about to end up at the wrong place. So basically, the days leading up to the vacation, I was pretty much MIA, because I was not only being like a working baddie, but also trying to prep for this damn vacation and being a fucking content creator for you bitches. And then my dad, he's a very scatterbrained person. So basically, what had happened was Bella, my little sister, texted in the family group chat saying, you know, we have to go to Newark. Tell me why my dad makes a sharp turn to another exit that leads us to JFK, which is in the opposite direction. And Bella's like, hold up, wait, where are we going? And that's like, oh my god, Bill, I thought we were supposed to go to JFK. Oh, sorry. May have neglected to remind you. This is why I can't stand men sometimes. It's just like, why do I have to be on top of you? You are a grown man. So we're here at the airport. This is Bella's outfit. All right, relax.
I look like I'm going on vacation.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Okay, 4.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's go through the fit, Isabella. What are the details?
Okay, so like, you know, thrifted. No, I'm just kidding. This isn't thrifted. This is thrifted from Sweets, I guess. Got this from Five Below.
Period.
Got this for Christmas. And that's it.
Okay. What about the necklace?
Oh, from Thrifty.
Oh, period. All right, my turn. Okay.
Thrifted. H&M. Thrifted. TJ Maxx. H&M. Serving you cowgirl realness. And then
all right, okay, that's enough. This was me getting breakfast at the airport. I just want everybody in the comments down below, guess how much this was for 2 people, okay? I just want y'all to guess. Humor me, okay? And let me know how much you thought this was. So the flight there was pretty chill. I was just sitting in between two of my cousins, and I was reading Bretman Rock's book, which is a little bit explicit. Like, my cousin said he was reading the book, and I'm like, oh, did you read about the part where he did it up the butt? I was like... Another thing I really wanted to bring up is why the fuck are planes hot? Like, I genuinely thought that planes just across the board were cold. Like, that's literally why I brought a sweater. It was so hot. And then on top of that, like, they had these old school ass TVs. Like, bitch, it's the year 2025. Y'all couldn't have updated this shit. And then on top of that, sorry, it's the fucking sirens in the background for me. But basically, we were sitting right behind this white family. And y'all know when, like, white people don't like each other in a family, they start calling their parents by their first name and be like, oh my God, fuck you, shirt. I was like, oop, like Trouble in Paradise, I fear.
And like I opened the door and I saw green and I was like, oh, we're in the air.
We're finally at the resort.
Took an hour.
Yeah, I would say almost like 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. We'll talk about it later.
Oh wow.
Yeah, more from us soon. We'll do a breakdown. Speaking my truth. Breaking my silence.
It was hard to even get this.
But we're here.
Bow, bow, bow. Are they gonna remember this?
This is the hotel. Guys, it's literally so freaking big. I think it's the biggest hotel I've ever stayed at.
We're exploring right now while we're waiting for our room. And then there's the beach.
Oh really? I have so much like clothing and accessories, so if you want something, like, please just ask. Yeah, nobody has those colors. This is the beach, by the way. And like, we're just going on the beach for a little bit. We still wait for our room. I am in love with this resort, I will say, guys. I'm like, this is what life is about. This is what life is about. It's about making money so that you can go on a vacation and forget about work for a few days. Look how many chairs they have, guys. I'm like legit about to put my feet in the water. Like, my dogs, they're out. They good. The first thing that I do when I come to the hotel is put my feet in the water. If y'all didn't know, I absolutely love the beach. I wish that like the camera could do this justice, but the water is so blue. This is me right now. I'm like, maybe I should just change into my bikini right now. Like, this is so relaxing. Like, y'all know whenever you and your girls go out, you're like, oh, I needed this. Yes, I did need this real bad, guys. Like, I was supposed to do a podcast, but I feel like things just snowballed. But basically, I had bronchitis, then I had COVID. It was just a really rough ass fucking winter, so this is a great way to bring in the spring season on the fucking beach. I feel like I've never really had like a proper spring break in college because I was so broke. I mean, I'm still broke, but like, you know, salary broke in the way that, like, you know what I mean? In the sense that, alright, but guys, look at how pretty this is. So pretty. I took like the fattest nap on the ride here. That's why I like honestly didn't vlog much, because like me and Bella will talk about it later, but like it was just really stressful to get here. And then it took forever for us to find our shuttle or like our bus, and then it took us an hour to get here from the airport. So just relaxing on the commute here. But now I have my feet in the water, and the water's not even that cold too. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should put on my bikini. Like, hello.
This is our room. Oh my god. Me and Bella wish our sister were here. No, I feel so bad that she wasn't able to go. Ooh, Bella! Stop! Our cute little vibe over here. And then we, oh my god, this is like so big.
Yeah.
We don't have to share a sink.
Yeah, no sharing.
Yeah, no sharing over here. And then we have our toilet, which is separate, which I like. And then we have this shower over here. It's like a waterfall or like rain shower. I tried that once and I like almost suffocated. This is so cute. And we have a very spacious closet. Nice mirror. Don't mind my mismatched socks. We have our bed. My boots over there. Beds. And then, guys, I have to show you. Okay. There's a whole table out here. And then we have like a quote unquote garden view, if you will. But like, look at how green all of this stuff is. It's so pretty. And then, surprise, surprise! We have a whole tub out here. Our cousins, they got like a more premium room, so they have a pool. But I'm like, even if we just want to chill, like we got a little tub situation over here. I know where me and hubby are coming next time for spring break, so proud of myself if you're watching this. Now you know. So cute.
Can you believe Becca's never had a Tequila Sunrise before? That's insane. She's never had one before.
Alright, so this is the first outfit that we're wearing. Okay, this was kind of like impromptu because I didn't even know that this is what we were doing. So basically what I did, I unpacked everything. I usually don't really like to like use the amenities over here, especially if I'm not staying for a whole week. But I'm like, girl, this room was a little bit expensive, gotta use everything. But basically what we did was we got dressed up in the Tequila Sunrise colors, and then we greeted my cousin Becca, who is actually getting married. Like, it's just so weird sometimes when somebody your age is getting married. It's like, what the hell? I first when I was a teenage girl, like, what the fuck? But like, every single time somebody in my life who, you know, I grew up with gets married, I get super excited for them because, like, I don't know, I just love weddings. Like, guys, literally my favorite childhood movie is The Wedding Planner. Like, I love a good wedding, and honestly, it's not even about the marriage and like the lifetime partnership. It's like the party, the attention, the dresses, okay, the festivities. I'm kidding, obviously, but like, I just feel like I'm going through a lot of emotions right now. Yeah, I just feel like I'm going through a lot. Like, life just can't take a break. Like, I really try my best to compartmentalize everything, but it's still really hard to like have your life kind of go on while you're still on vacation and like try to juggle everything. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I still struggle with, I was trying to check out this move, but I still struggle with like separating my life and like separating vacation from work, because honestly, like, sometimes I just feel like I can't really get a break. But anyways, speaking of all that, I got my period. That's fun. Bitch, I'm all time to get my period. Like, yes, I'm all for like the body positivity movement, but sometimes when I'm menstruating, I just don't feel my hottest. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? I'm going to embrace positivity and speak positive vibes into this vacation, because even though it got off to a bit of a rough start, I am like super determined to have a good ass fucking time. Like, look at how cute this outfit is. Don't look at my dons too much, okay? Like, this is so cute. I love the way that it came together. I feel like it came together exactly how I wanted it, with the exception of course, the yellow tank top that I showed y'all earlier. But it's so cute. I'm like, ooh, I'm really falling in love with the color yellow again. Fun fact, guys, yellow was actually one of my favorite colors in high school. I'd say right now it's green and pink, but definitely leaning towards green for sure. Okay, so let me stop dilly-dallying because we actually have a reservation. I need to hurry the fuck. Okay. So sorry if this is a little bit blurry, but I honestly, before I left for Mexico, I really wanted to record a tutorial of me speaking in Spanish, to talk with y'all a little bit about my journey with Spanish. Guys, it's been a little bit of a stressful first start to the vacation, but I honestly, I'm just like putting down my phone and I'm literally just going to spend this time enjoying my vacation, because I did not come to my vacation to not enjoy my time here. Pero quería grabar un video maquillándome mientras que hablo un poquito de español, porque si ustedes no sabían, me gradué de la universidad con una doble especialización y estoy usando este primer de ELF. Se llama el Power Grip Primer, perdón, con niacinamide, no sé cómo decirlo en español, pero me encanta este primer porque con este primer mi maquillaje está bien pegado, como like you can't beat that. But anyways, está bien pegado. Me gradué con una doble especialización de la sociología y también la interpretación y traducción al español. Y siempre digo la interpretación y traducción al español porque es otra cosa. Simplemente es otra cosa. Like before I, really did my second major in Spanish, I thought like, oh, okay, it's gonna be a cute little minor, or not minor, like it honestly was a double major if I'm gonna be so honest, but it was a little bit harder than I expected. So quería perseguir esta especialización porque al principio, en el año 2019, cuando tenía, creo que tenía, I forgot, why am I forgetting how to say 18? It's not, definitely not 800, pero se me olvidó. 18. I feel like it's something different, pero okay. 15, 16, 18. Okay. 18. Ok, es 18. Cuando tenía 18 años, perdón, no sé qué pasó, pero cuando tenía 18 años, quería perseguir una carrera en el activismo, quería ser una abogada, trabajar en las Naciones Unidas. Simplemente mis metas profesionales se enfocaron mucho en el activismo, algo súper tradicional. Y a pesar de trabajar en el activismo o como una abogada, quería hacer un sidekick o un trabajo extra como una intérprete o una traductora, porque yo no sé, pero pensé que siempre es una ventaja tener una habilidad de interpretar y traducir en otro idioma. Pero en mi tercer año de la universidad me di cuenta de que es un poquito difícil y I fell a little bit out of love with it because it was a little bit harder than I expected. Y por eso no estoy persiguiendo una carrera como una intérprete, y obviamente mis sueños han cambiado porque hoy en día trabajo en las redes sociales y estoy creando TikToks y todo eso. So I really wanted to practice a little bit of my Spanish with y'all because honestly, antes de viajarme tenía tanto miedo porque soy una perfeccionista. Quiero que todas las cosas sean perfectas, sin errores, y hablar el español siempre me dio un poquito de ansiedad, de miedo, porque it really was, me dio vergüenza, me dio tanta vergüenza cometer un error. Y para poder llegar a un nivel más avanzado de la fluidez de español o otro idioma, uno tiene que cometer errores para aumentar sus habilidades, ¿no? Y like I just didn't want to even experience that because honestly, like speaking another language, siempre he sido la única persona que no crecí en una casa hispanohablante, en que hablaron español en casa. And so I always felt like súper fuera de lugar. And like, I just didn't even want to speak because I didn't even want to make that mistake. Hey! Mi hermana acabo de llegar y estamos alistándonos para cenar. Pero estamos alistándonos para cenar y tengo que alistarme bien rápido, bien rapidito porque son las 6:15, son las 6:15 y tenemos una reservación en menos de 45 minutos. Porque la reservación es para por a las 7. Okay. So muchas personas me preguntan por qué empecé a aprender cómo hablar el español y la verdad la historia la cuenta es, en mi opinión, un poquito chistoso porque tenía un amigo que siempre burlaba de mí en español y obviamente nunca jamás me voy a permitir que eso pasara. Así que el verano antes de matricularme en la escuela secundaria me ponía las pilas, la verdad me ponía las pilas para poder responder. Like, I feel like language is so interesting because honestly to be able to defend yourself in a language is really just such a flex, and I wanted to be able to do that. So literally en esos tiempos tenían ciertas novelas disponibles en Netflix, por ejemplo Rebelde, Lo que la vida me robó, todos los clásicos, también Teresa, todos los clásicos, e incluso Mariana del Barrio, Marimar. Así que por medio de las novelas aprendí cómo hablar el español. Obviamente aprendí cómo hablar el español por medio de mis clases en like, middle school, ¿qué más? Middle school, la escuela secundaria y también la universidad. Pero like in my opinion, I feel like novelas really helped me a lot, and I do apologize, it's kind of hard for me to speak a little bit of English as well because honestly when I'm doing like a switch in between English and Spanish, sometimes it's kind of like I have to reset those parts of my brain. I don't know if anybody who is bilingual also kind of feels this way too, but I find that when I try to speak like two languages at the same time and I try to speak Spanglish almost, it like trips me up in English, and for me it's still a little bit hard because I don't have as much practice in it. But there are some people who like literally just do the switch so seamlessly. Even if I speak Spanish for like a hot minute, I have like dreams in Spanish, or I have dreams of correcting myself in Spanish. That's a very common dream for me. So like if we have any bilinguals in the chat, definitely let me know. But honestly, I don't know if it's just because I've gotten older, but honestly, if I were to make a mistake, like me importa un carajo. Me importa un carajo, like if I make a mistake, because that's honestly just part of the process. There's so many people who speak different languages and they make mistakes all the time, and I feel like if I just get over my fear of speaking Spanish, my Spanish honestly would be a lot better. Like I'm telling y'all right now, when I was in Spanish class, there was I had my first in-person Spanish class in like my junior year of college. That was my first time, because prior to that all of my classes had been very remote, obviously because of the pandemic, but like my professors also had a lot of remote classes anyway, so I really didn't have a lot of that in-person interaction that would have otherwise really helped my Spanish. even our assignments, a lot of our assignments, like we could record them multiple times. So I had a number of times to actually like practice my Spanish and kind of perfect it. But again, didn't really have like a whole bunch of real life experience until later in life. And then I had so much anxiety when I barely participated in Spanish class, which is very much not like me. I always participate in class, but like every time I did, I would shake because of how anxious I was. So I did not really practice it as much. But I feel like as I get older, I'm like, I have this really amazing skill to be able to communicate with different people and help people out. So like I just honestly had to put my big girl panties on and just not give a fuck. I was feeling a little bit nervous, right? Because like, you know, when you're traveling and you're in a foreign country, there are just certain things that you really need to be able to communicate and talk about, like reservations, policies, things like that, immigration. But prior to me leaving, tenía una conversación con alguien que estaba limpiando nuestra oficina sobre nuestros productos y fue súper fácil. Like it's a lot of improv and like you have to think on your feet, and I've never been really good at conversational assignments throughout my entire like Spanish academic career. I feel like those always gave me so much anxiety, but I had like it was super easy. So I like that I was able to just communicate with her and have a conversation with her about our products. And like, listen, sometimes when talking about our product is a little bit difficult because it has to deal with like medical conditions or like la caída del cabello and things like that. So even though I was like 100% sure I made a bajillion mistakes, it's also just like putting yourself out there that I feel really helps with improving another language. I always say that if somebody wants to learn another language, one of the best ways to do so is just like to really immerse yourself in the actual language itself. So for me, that was through novelas. And that I think really helped advance my understanding of it because like I was able to see how people actually spoke Spanish. Like obviously there is such a huge difference between academic Spanish and colloquial Spanish. And I watched a lot of Mexican and Colombian telenovelas. So that's why I feel like whenever I speak with, you know, somebody from Mexico, I just feel a little bit more comfortable because that's the type of Spanish that I feel like I can understand the best. Y ahora estoy haciendo el contorno al lado de mi nariz. Y ahora me voy a meter un poquito de rubor o blush, un poquito de rubor en mis cachetes y voy a usar un tono de rubor rosado más clara. Voy a escoger este color. Creo que metí un poco demasiado, pero we're gonna work with it. Y ahora voy a difuminarlo con mi esponja. I tried to watch a tutorial in Spanish, but honestly, like it was a little bit much for me. But regardless, like watching a lot of Spanish content really helped me understand it a lot better. That's why I feel like my listening skills are a lot better in Spanish than they are with like speaking them, because I always listen to material in Spanish, which is what helped me improve my skills. So I, for example, not only watched novelas, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos. For example, there's this vocal coach online, I forget what her name is, but I would literally watch all of her videos and she would speak in Spanish the entire time. And that's basically how I learned how to improve my Spanish before in college. But I will say, like, really try to diversify how you absorb a language, because that will definitely improve your skills. But it's really not that hard. Like, you would be surprised how absorbent your brain is. Creo que metí demasiado. Like, it's just way too rosy, but it's okay. Me voy a arreglarlo. But yeah, I just have to fix it a little bit. si pongo demasiado rubor, siempre me voy a arreglarlo con un poquito de mi base. But you would be surprised how absorbent your brain is. And like once you, I think, really commit yourself to kind of learning a language, it gets it gets a lot better. Like there was a point where I would watch novelas and then I wouldn't really have to use any sort of English subtitles. Bless you. I wouldn't really have to use any sort of English subtitles because at that point I was already used to the way that they spoke, and that's how I, you know, improved my skills and learned the language. So yeah. Honestly, even still to this day, like there are just some things that I don't really understand in Spanish, especially like if it's a faster accent. Like it does take me a while. For example, like whenever Bad Bunny sings, I have to listen to the song a couple of times in order to actually understand the message. Like for example, Titi me preguntó, that took me like I think almost a year to really understand the message, which is so interesting because by that time like I was pretty fluent. It took me about like a year and a half of just watching a lot of Spanish language content to really feel comfortable in it, just to kind of give y'all an idea. But at that time I was also in like Spanish language classes in high school, so I would say again just like try to really supplement and diversify how you learn it. And honestly, like one of the reasons why I don't really care as much about making mistakes is because a lot of people just appreciate that you're even trying, and in general, like people also tend to be pretty understanding too. Like there were a bunch of times I made mistakes, and like obviously sometimes I'll run across these people who like are just very rude and like not very forgiving, but there are also like a bunch of other people who are really nice about it, and they're like, actually, you know what, this is how you say it. Like, you know, I think when you're speaking a language, there's obviously, or maybe not obviously, but there's like this kind of understanding that, you know, you're putting yourself out there, you're trying. It might be a little bit hard, so don't be a fucking dick, okay? Don't be a fucking dick is the real message over here. So I'm putting a little bit of powder underneath my eyes for a little bit. I don't have my mirror. I'm actually just using like this mini mirror over here and then my iPhone, so like hopefully things turn out nice looking is all I hope. It's a little bit humid in here, I'm not gonna lie. Like we even put on the fan and the AC, so I'm like, should we get that fixed? But I'm putting on a little bit of powder. And for anybody who is interested in like interpretation and translation, like I was saying earlier, I did that for about like 3 years out of my college experience, like almost like, not 3 years, but maybe 2.5. I would say the translation part really came in towards the latter half of my college career. The first 2 were kind of like more cultural classes that were pretty easy because they were online. But even after that, I had those classes, and I feel like a lot of people, especially if Spanish or whatever language you're trying to translate is a native language of yours, there's this tendency to, you know, underestimate it. Like, oh, it's just translation, like all I have to do is find the equivalent saying in Spanish or the target language. But there's so much that has to go into actual like interpretation and translation, which is why I found it to be so interesting. I feel like if anything, I'm a lot more into linguistics than the actual practice of interpretation and translation, because trust and believe, guys, as much as I enjoyed it, I also literally struggled so much. I'm like, even to this day, I'm still a little bit surprised that I got that degree, because I'm like, oh girl, I don't even know if I really deserve this, but hey, we still got it. But anyways, it was a little bit hard, I will say, because there's so many things that you have to keep in mind. So when it comes to translation and interpretation, there are different types of it. The ones that I can really remember are simultaneous, because that was the hardest one. And then there was also bilateral. Simultaneous translation is really just the hardest type of translation, simply because you're talking and somebody's talking and then you have to translate at the same time. So that's why you'll see a lot of like simultaneous translation at a lot of these big events, because typically they hire people who know their shit. And then there's bilateral. There's another one that I'm forgetting. I just, honestly, it's been a while, so like low-key I forget. But there are 3 different types of translation. And then there's also a lot of other things that you have to take into consideration when you're translating too. I think it's very, it's okay, you can come in, sorry. And it's very like literal sense is, you know, at least the way that I understand it, like transforming a sentence so that you can understand it in another language. But there's so much that goes into it, right? Like you also have to take in the cultural differences, because yes, everybody in Latin America speaks similar languages. Like everybody in Spanish speaking countries speaks the same language, but there are also so many cultural differences that affect the way that people say things. Like for example, bizcocho. Bizcocho is how they say cake in Puerto Rico, and I think even in like select parts of Latin America, but I know for the most part in Puerto Rico that's how they say cake. But in other parts of the world it might be seen as something derogatory. So you kind of have to make that call of like, okay, who is the audience that I'm speaking to? Like, am I speaking with a Spanish speaking Caribbean audience, or is it a Mexican Spanish speaking audience, Central American, South American? There are a lot of things to take into account, especially if you're like translating for European Spanish, because that's different, right? There are so many factors that you have to take into account that you might not even think, simply because I think a lot of people think that just translation is like, you know, from one thing to another. Another thing too is like one of the hardest parts of translation, I'd say like one of the hardest types of translation, is translating into a song, because not only do you have to maintain very similar, I guess, vibes, but also you have to keep up with the tempo. So there are so many things that you have to take into account when you're translating, but it was a little bit fun. Like I will say, when I was doing my translation homework, I was having a lot of fun. It was definitely very nerve-wracking. Like when things got a little bit more advanced, I think that's when I honestly should have tapped out. But I'm very much someone who like, I just commit, okay? I don't like to tap out of things, because if I've already spent like, you know, maybe it's like the sunk cost fallacy that I'm like, oh, if I spent this much time, I might as well just finish it. But for me personally, like I had already spent almost like 6-7 years at that point, not even, like almost a decade learning Spanish. And I'm like, you know what, we might as well just finish it. And I ended up getting the degree anyways, so whatever. But bilingualism really does encompass a whole bunch of like different types of experiences. So obviously there's like the native bilingual who grew up with 2 languages at home, and then I believe there's a sequential bilingual or secuencial. So like basically what that means is that they learn one language at home and then they learn another one shortly after. So typically sometimes people, like they immigrate to a new country, for example, like let's just talk about the United States for a second. Let's say somebody immigrates from Mexico to Texas, and at first they start off speaking Spanish at home, and then at school they speak English. That's kind of like the sequential bilingual experience. And then there's also tardío. So tardío really refers to you being able to speak another language a lot later in life. I am very much a tardío because I learned how to speak Spanish around 12 years old in middle school. Fun fact, initially I was supposed to learn French, but I feel like the accent was a little bit too hard, and I thought that Spanish was a little bit more practical. But there are different types of bilinguals, and there's also different types of experience levels and expertise levels. So like I was mentioning earlier, I am a lot more of a receptive bilingual than I am a speaker. I have been trying to improve my speaking skills lately because honestly I just don't give a fuck, and like at the end of the day I have this cool ass talent, if you will. But basically if you are a receptive bilingual, what that means is that you understand it a lot better than you speak it. And I know a lot of people think like, oh, that's not actually being bilingual, but there are so many people who live in houses where their parents speak one language and then they speak another language, but both of you understand it. So for example, the reason why I said earlier I was kind of like trilingual is because my parents speak Bisaya at home, and I don't really speak Bisaya because I blame my parents for that entirely. But basically, like, they speak Bisaya, and I obviously don't know how to respond because I was never taught how to speak it. But because I grew up around it and I recognize a lot of the phrases, I can still respond. But it usually is in English. But let me know in the comments down below, like, what languages you took throughout high school. There's so many other languages that I really want to learn. Like, right now I'm kind of just focusing on improving my Spanish, but eventually, like, I want to learn how to speak Portuguese. Portuguese is another big one on my list. I was actually supposed to take an introductory class in my senior year of college, but they ended up canceling it because nobody was like registered for the class. But I definitely want to learn a little bit of Portuguese, a little bit of Arabic too, because I feel like it's just such a pretty language. And then I also want to learn Bisaya too, because, like, obviously when I have kids, I want to be able to speak it with them. But we're definitely going to be like a multilingual household.
Just had our first dinner at a French restaurant. How would you rate the dinner out of a scale of 1 to 10?
Like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I would say so too. Like the foie gras, I feel like that really just, it tasted like a dog, I'm not gonna lie.
I couldn't eat a lot because it had a lot of seafood.
Seafood, yeah.
Yeah.
It was okay. I feel like it was okay for what it was, but I don't think I would ever like eat it again.
Agreed.
Oh, let's do fit checks.
All right, Bello, what's your fit?
These are fast fashion.
Oh Lord.
This is forever. Birks. And where is this from?
It's from
Yeah. And this is from Dweller's Closet.
Yeah. I think it was like Urban Outfitters that I got that
Urban.
from. Yeah.
So fit. I actually got this in Mexico, in Cancun. I think our hotel is like not too far away. This I got from Amazon. These I got from Pretty Little Thing. This I thrifted over in Terrytown. I also thrifted these and this one too. So like a lot of this outfit is thrifted.
What about the shoes?
I thrifted this as well from Poshmark.
Oh wow.
Okay, let me stop. You know how the secretaries walk in like cool? Alright, so this is technically like our first night here. Hold up, let me like face the camera.
Alright, so technically this is our first night here. What are your thoughts so far?
I mean, I'm having a good time. I'm just a little tired.
Yeah.
It's a long day. We haven't gotten much rest.
Yeah.
But I'm having a good time.
I feel like we're gonna sleep really well tonight. Like, I've just been meaning to get a good, decent, like, 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. And, like, I'm super excited to wake up tomorrow and just, like, go to the beach and chill. But that's the vibe for tomorrow.
Alright, we're taking pictures. Okay. Close your book. Okay. Whatever. Like, do I look like a baddie or not? Yes or no? I'm trying to take your picture. Okay. Can you like direct me a little bit? Can you direct me a little bit? Okay. Like, does this look cute? I've been asking you that question. I was saying no, but when I said close your book. So is it better now? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you want? Nah, it should be staggered. Okay, let's just try it. God. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Does it look cute or does it look weird? Just see for yourself. I don't know what you want. God. Okay. I think no flash. No, I do like the flash. I just don't like I don't like myself. That sounds like the problem.
The reoccurring problem.
Okay, maybe let's try one of me standing up because I feel like me, what's it called? Sitting is like the problem.
Yeah. You gonna pick up your daughter? You gonna pick up your daughter? Your daughter. Okay.
You gonna pick up your daughter? They have like the fattest ass for no reason. Like, did you sit down all day? Like, what the fuck?
Like natural BBL.
Natural BBL. Oh, okay. Time to walk in and be a
Okay. The chair is kind of blocking you.
Like, I
Can you stand in front of the chair?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You keep moving while I'm taking my shot.
Okay, sorry. God, maybe. Ooh, I like it. It's just my feet look so weird.
What?
You're like, there's nothing I can do about that. Maybe you should start loving yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe try to go away a little bit further and like zoom the camera in. If that works, like go, I'd say by the table and then try to
La próxima vez en Despedida de Soltera.
Why are you crying? He's right here.
I'm like not Becca crying about her fiance.